Welcome back! We're gonna do part 3 of Picasso today. The last day that we're gonna do Picasso for a while, and I'm excited about it. Picasso lived till he was 91 years old. That's awesome. Picasso lived most of his life in France, but he was born in Spain. One of the cool things about Picasso, he spent his whole life trying for simplicity, trying to break really complicated things down into their simplest forms. One of the keys to simplicity for Picasso was line. I am excited to show you some of Picasso's art that I think is underappreciated, things that you don't see all that often. Picasso had pets. He had a ton of pets. He loved his animals. I am gonna show you some of these. One of his favorite was a Dalmatian that he named Perro, which means dog in Spanish. It's really not that, like, the naming of his animals wasn't really that exciting or creative. He also had a Pyrenese dog, great big dog, that he named Bob, a little wiener dog. My kids love these dogs because of Bluey. He had a Dachshund named Lump, and you can see Lump, he drew Lump and he put him in some of his artwork. And so I'll show you a few of those pieces. Lump, his Dachshund, his wiener dog, he would swoosh it around and you would get the contour or the outside line of Lump. And it looks exactly like a Dachshund. Picasso also had a goat named Esmeralda. He also had an owl named Ubu. He did sculptures about Ubu. He did a toad that I love. He just used basic lines, basic shapes, the little teeny circles for the toad's warts, and it totally looks like a toad, even though it's just a few shapes here and there. He also did owls, he did penguins, goats. One of my favorite depictions of Don Quixote and his faithful servant, and it's all just line. It's contour lines, squiggly line here and there, and it totally reads the tall, skinny Don Quixote on his horse Dulcinea and his faithful friend who went with him throughout all of his travels. It looks super easy, but just wait until you try it yourself. It's kind of hard to get out of your mind, like, I want to do every possible piece of this, every line, every circle, just to simplify. It's kind of hard to do. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put up a picture. We are gonna spend 30 seconds per picture, and we're not gonna pick up our pencil even once. Don't do it. Don't be tempted to cheat. Keep your pencil on the paper, and we're gonna go and contour each animal and try and get it in 30 seconds or less. First, we're gonna start with a lion. I'm gonna go around its body. I'm gonna make sure I get the mane in there and an eye in there, hopefully. And I'm gonna go down and do some legs and maybe a tail in there, hopefully. And then we've got to be done. The next picture we're gonna do is a giraffe because it's such a funny shape and a shape that's very obvious. So we're gonna start with 30 seconds. On your mark, get set, go. Now, I'm gonna show you what my kids did. With time, with practice, they got better and better, and they loved it. It was so much fun. I'm gonna start with the youngest. I kind of adore this, even though it doesn't read very well. So what he said is, this right here is a head, and he has some eyes. Can't see it very well. And then here's the giraffe. There's the neck that goes down, but then here are also the legs that go down. So it kind of looks like a tripod with 3 legs, but it's the neck and then the legs. I think that's hilarious. This is my oldest. And so she did an ostrich, which I think is great, and a sheep that does read like a sheep. It's awesome. And then her giraffe, and she was able to take her continuous line and still do some squigglies in the middle to make the pattern of a giraffe. And then we did a hamster because we love Sam the hamster in our family. Another one of my sons, there's his giraffe, and it reads like a giraffe. Even though there's a tail and 1 leg, you still get that it's a giraffe. It's amazing. Then here's this cute little hamster, and he did pick up his pencil. That was a little bit cheating. And then here on the side is his sheep, and that was 1 continuous line, and he had to go back, and it kind of bugged him a little bit to have to go back because he's a little bit of a perfectionist, which is just fine. He had it open, and then it had an eye in there, and he had some ears, And then this one looks like it's walking. These little legs look like they're walking. And then this hamster here with a great big eyeball. I love it. And this is an ostrich. Look at that face. That is a total ostrich face with their funny pokey little beak and a long neck, longer neck, and a kind of a bigger body and walking. Art does not have to be perfect. It's about you and exploring and doing something exciting and different, and just be you. Because all of this is individual. Nobody wants the same piece of artwork from every single person, because then the world would be boring. Now for some inspiration. I have a few from Picasso this time because it's my last time with Picasso. So here are his quotes. The first is, "Action is the foundational key to success." The second is, "The purpose of art is washing the dust of daily life off our souls. Love is the greatest refreshment in life. The world today doesn't make sense, so why should I paint pictures that do?" And lastly, "It takes a long time to become young." The art principle of the day, and we're going to talk about different kinds of line. The first, which you heard me mention earlier, is contour lines. Contour lines are a continuous line that defines the outline of a shape. I could do a contour line of a person, just the outside parts of a person, and you would read that it's a human being. The next line is something we also did today, which is a continuous line. Without picking up your pencil, you do the outline of a person or you do some sort of shape, but it's all one line. In one of Picasso's that I love is a horse that he does. This horse has squiggly lines all over the place, but it's one continuous line. The next are parallel lines or cross-hatching lines. Cross-hatching lines and parallel lines are used to create texture, volume, shading, or patterns. In a previous video, we talked about hatching and cross-hatching. This is what we're talking about. They're diagonal lines that run parallel or diagonal lines that cross each other. The next is a gesture line. So this is all about getting the movement of your subject. So if you had a person that was running, you could get the crick of their arm, the motion of their body, just in gesture lines, just to see how they're moving. And it creates all kinds of fun action in your art when you use gesture lines. The last lines are implied lines. They're not physically present. Our minds fill in the gaps. You see this man's eyes looking down at this woman. You can't see an actual line, but you know that he's looking diagonally down, and your line follows him down to the woman. You can see implied lines in all kinds of art. They're not visibly there. They're implied lines, and they're invisible lines that your mind just kind of makes up. Thank you so much for joining me. Please press the like button. I really would appreciate, so that other friends can find these videos and enjoy them too. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.